Happy hump day, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Hope you're having a great midweek. I also hope you enjoyed, this silly little thing that we posted earlier. The Battle of Wakanda reimagined for the Battle of Bitcoin, the heroes of cryptocurrency and the altcoin space against, in this case, it looks like we have Warren Buffett, we have Bill Gates. So we're rallying the forces of good, i.e. Jack Dorsey, Mike Novogratz, Michael Saylor, and of course, GigaChad himself, Elon Musk, who comes in at the end of the video. So nothing too serious, but if you haven't already checked it out, it's was uploaded earlier today. We'll link to it in the description below. All a little bit of good fun. And I think the more and more of these we see, the more we have indirect indications of a really positive and blossoming bull market. And to that end, we have a lot to talk about today. We have a few macro level details that we're going to be discussing. We also have a lot of altcoin project updates that we're going to have to run through a little bit rapid fire because there's a lot going on today in the space. So I will refer you to the timestamps that you can find below, both in the comments as well as the description of this video. At a top level here, you see that IBM and top Australian banks are executing that country's, i.e. Australia's first blockchain bank guarantee, here courtesy of Coindesk.com. The idea is that by digitizing the normally paper process, the Lygos joint venture says it's shown it can speed up bank guarantee issuances. Just one drop in an ocean of positive good news. We're also talking about Ethereum. And as we know, we're now the 10th of February. So it's been more than a couple of days now since the 8th of February, technically since Sunday late afternoon, early evening, that you have Ether Futures that went live with the CME group here on Cointelegraph.com. CME's Ether Futures, get this, drove more than $30 million of volume on their very first day. So that means that more than $30 million worth of Ether contracts changed hands on CME during the market's first day of trade. And those numbers can be backed up here on CMEgroup.com with their Ether volume report here and metrics. This is going to be interesting to keep an eye on. I imagine that the first day, of course, is going to be the most significant, and then, it's going to dwindle a little bit as some of the excitement subsides, and then it's going to go back up as time goes by, as more and more people get into the space. We also have some very interesting NFT news here and a new record that's been set. History has been made, in fact. I've just sold an Axie Infinity Genesis estate for, get this, 885 and a quarter Ethereum, worth about $1.5 million. This from a couple days ago. And this represents the largest digital land sale ever recorded on the blockchain. Congratulations to the new owner, Flying Falcon. I have no idea what Axie Infinity is. This, to me, I'd rather hold 888 Ethereum, but I guess there's a whale out there that sees this as good value. So again, this is virtual property we're talking about. $1.5 million worth of transactions here. This is a new NFT record, non-fungible token, 888 ETH. That's a lot of money. Wouldn't be my play in this particular scenario, but there you go. That's what the free market is for. So Flying Falcon purchased the digital estate of 9 adjacent Genesis blocks for 888 and a quarter ETH. And just in case you're wondering here, we're talking about this being a new record. The previous record was $800,000. So just about half of this record, which was set by Polygon Games and their purchase of the Citadel of the Sun from Gala Games. I don't know what any of this stuff is. Of course, I understand NFTs, but I don't understand Axie Infinity or Gala Games. I don't know. To me, I would use the money in a different way, but that is just me. So let me know if you follow these games or these properties or these universes. Safe to say, however, this is a positive sign for digital real estate, in this case, for NFTs, non-fungible tokens. That's great. Record setting every day. On CNBCHere.com, ARK Invest says Tesla's Bitcoin purchase will lead to more corporations buying, driving the price higher. We've talked about this yesterday. Check out yesterday's video. We talked about this at length. The rumor seems to be right now that Apple is considering entering the crypto space at the level of an exchange, perhaps. I commented that it would be pretty revolutionary for them to do to the crypto space what they did to the music space with iTunes, for example. So let's keep an eye on that. But here's the latest. The Twitter CFO, that's Chief Financial Officer, is saying that the social media giant is considering whether or not to add Bitcoin to its balance sheet. Now, on its own merits, this would kind of be like a neutral story. It would be like, all right, let's wait and see kind of thing. Twitter's CFO, that's not Jack Dorsey, of course. But with Jack Dorsey at the helm of Twitter, the guy still, I think, is the original person that had hashtag Bitcoin in his Twitter bio, of course. Ultra, mega Bitcoin bull. Of course, he was in that Battle of Wakanda video that we featured earlier. He's a prominent guy in the space. He not only heads up Twitter, but he heads up Square, the payments app that is a leader in the Bitcoin space. So it wouldn't surprise me in the least to see Twitter and Jack Dorsey and all, the other chiefs involved here get onto the Bitcoin bandwagon, let's call it, but to follow the Michael Saylor and now the Elon Musk strategy of adding Bitcoin to your balance sheets as a reserve. Okay, with all of that out of the way, we're going to take a look at some other macro trends at the tail end of this video, but let's discuss altcoin updates because we have a lot of them to go through today, including many from our friends in the space that are doing phenomenally well. It's safe to say that we are in altcoin bull season right now. Bitcoin is, kind of consolidating. 24 hours ago, things were looking really good. Now we do have some retracements, but the altcoins are flying. During times when Bitcoin kind of takes a breather, that's when you're really seeing the strong altcoin performers do their thing. Let's begin with this update here from our friends over at Paid Network. You can follow them at paid_network. Ignition will incentivize participants to hold tokens of previous IDOs, increasing probability of their participation in future opportunities. This will help ensure sustainable growth for projects, leading to more value being delivered to both the projects and their communities. Okay, so for a little bit of context here, this is what's happening with our friends over at Paid. They recently had their IDO, and they've been on a beast of a bull run ever since. We're going to take a look at the numbers in just a second. The price is something to behold. Let me tell you that. So the platform Ignition is Paid's IDO platform. And again, this is going to allow, or the idea is that it's going to allow token holders to participate in private and public token swaps. That is why this is so significant. This is news fresh from earlier this morning, the 10th of February. You can read about this more on paidnetwork.medium.com. Ignition, Paid's network initial DEX offering or IDO platform, allows Paid token holders the opportunity to participate in curated and novel private and public token swaps. You can read more about it here with the link that is included in the article. When conceiving Ignition, we have placed great emphasis on how to create a loyal community that best serves both projects and purchasers over the long term. As previously promised, we're excited to be able to share details as to how we are achieving this and solving what we term the so-called incentive problem. You should definitely check out this write-up for more information, and of course we'll link to it in the description below. But for those of you that hold Paid tokens, you should check this out. You're going to be eligible to enter one of 4 levels depending on the size of your holding. These are at number 1, the first tier, Earth, for those that hold at least 2,500 tokens. Moon is the second level for those that hold 5,000. Mars, 10,000 plus. And then you have Galaxy, which of course is a special and distinct tier. You'll require paid holdings of 75,000 tokens or more. And, we've been talking up Paid Network for quite a while now. Ticker is PAID. We like what they're doing. Right now, they happen to be down a couple of percentage points on the day, but it's a down market. We don't care about that. We don't care about the day-to-day. That's not what concerns us. If you take a snapshot look back, even over the course of the last month, take a look at this. Paid was at 40 cents just a month ago. Now, again, over $3. The more you zoom out, the better and better and better it looks, guys. Paid Network, check out our previous coverage of this project, but this is one of our favorites for a reason, and they're doing some very impressive things in the IDO space, especially now with this Ignition announcement. So do be sure to check out this write-up for more information. Moving right along now, we're covering Secret Network, which itself kind of ironically has been a little bit of a secret. This is no longer a small cap project. They've exploded actually in a big way in terms of price, and we haven't actually talked about them all that much on the channel so far, but we're going to set the record straight today. Okay, so it's an interesting project for a couple of reasons. It's aiming to solve the issues surrounding transparency with regulators and with privacy with Know Your Customers. So privacy at the level of regulator KYC as well as for users. There are a lot of real world benefits here of the Secret app. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. With this article here on altcoinbuzz.io by Deepika, the value proposition of a secret network is to provide a middle ground between transparency and privacy in the blockchain space. And this makes the platform suitable for transparency demanding regulators and privacy demanding business. If you've not been following the price of Secret, ticker here is SCRT. They're up in a down market right now, 25.8% on the day. And again, similarly with paid network, if you take a look at the last 3 months, it's been a pretty meteoric and parabolic story here. Exceptional price performance of Secret. And as I was discussing earlier with a colleague, these guys are no longer a small cap project. If you take a look, they're worth now nearly $150 million. And we expect that to go higher as time goes by. Let's take a look here at the details. Blockchain technology is exceptionally private, but the ledger itself offers unrivaled transparency. So effectively, all the data recorded in the ledger or the smart contracts are accessible to anyone. While the regulatory bodies are happy about this, the businesses will not necessarily be comfortable adopting a technology that opens their books to its competitors. And therefore, we now have the concept of privacy-focused blockchains. Here is the gist of the value proposition of Secret. Number one, SCRT, the native secret network token, is transparent, and thus regulators can keep a watch on the kind of money that goes in and that comes out. And number two, secret network contracts are completely private. Thus, how the business utilizes this money within their setup is completely private and is held confidential. To name just a couple of real-world benefits of Secret apps: privacy-preserving credit scoring and lending, decentralized access control, privacy-preserving machine learning, as well as secret voting for collective decision-making. There's a lot more information, guys, in terms of Deepika's write-up here. You can learn more about secret contracts, secret tokens, secret network staking, and as well as the secret Ethereum bridge. But that's unfortunately all the time that we have on this project. We have to keep moving along. It is a busy day in the space, but do check out this write-up for more information. We're talking now about Cartesi, one of our favorites here and a friend of the channel. Cartesi project, with this announcement, we are excited to announce our partnership with Elrond Network to bring the world's prevailing OS operating system to the internet scale blockchain. Developers will be able to leverage tools from Linux and unleash massive computational capabilities on Elrond. We've talked about Cartesi enough such that you should have some sense about what it is they do, but if you're hearing about the project for the first time, they're effectively a layer 2 solution which is focusing on roll-ups for computational scalability and enabling Linux for smart contracts. And if you're following not only Cartesi but Elrond, you can see why this partnership and this collaboration makes sense. On medium.com, Cartesi partners with Elrond to bring the world's prevailing OS to the internet scale blockchain. And if you're not familiar with Elrond, it's one of the fastest growing blockchain projects in the industry. It brings a highly scalable, fast, and secure blockchain platform for distributed applications, enterprise use cases, and the new internet economy. And therefore, through this partnership, Cartesi is aiming to expand its array of possibilities for smart contract developers building on Elrond, who will be able to use mainstream software stacks supported by Linux. And besides the advantages of higher productivity given by the vast software ecosystem of the world's prevailing OS, smart contracts on Elrond will be complemented by massive off-chain computational throughput. Read more here in the article about Elrond and about Cartesi. You can also join the development community, that is Cartesi's development community, on Discord using this link here in the article. Cartesi also a very strong performer as of late, ticker CTSI. Again, guys, we're in a down market today, but it doesn't matter. Cartesi up 39.7%. That's up over 20% against Bitcoin in a down market. Not too bad at all. Again, the 24 hours is fairly volatile. It's a volatile uptrend that Cartesi is on right now. We don't so much care about the day-to-day, the myopic sort of micro perspective. Take a look at what's happening here on the long run, and you can see that similarly with all of these other picks that we've been championing now for weeks and months, and in some cases years. This is a very strong selection now on the heels of this partnership news, with a very, very strong price performance that, finally I think reflects much of what we saw in the project going back weeks and months. So do be sure to check them out. Check out the associated announcements and publications. We'll link to all of this, of course, in the description below. Speaking of Elrond, they have this separate and independent news. Elrond, eGold at Elrond Network from yesterday. Esports and EGLD connect at internet scale. ExceedMe will create opportunities for gamers to get mire and engage with their blockchain gaming ecosystem. Hashtag hypergrowth100 day 36. If you're hearing about this for the first time, esports and eGold connect at internet scale. ExceedMe to accept Mire payments. Another project that has recently come across our radar, and we're not going to be spending too much time on this, but Litentry. I think that's how you say it. It could be Litentry because the ticker is LIT, which is probably the greatest ticker I've ever seen. That's LIT, a cross-chain identity aggregator. We came across this light paper, in this case, V2 of their light paper, published last month, and we wanted to share this with you, especially if you scroll down a little bit to page 4, actually. So it's a pretty interesting proposal that they have here. Here's their role. As people have already generated massive amounts of data in various decentralized systems, a way must be found to connect these data so that they can flow across different systems and platforms, while user privacy and data sovereignty are preserved. This approach can truly reflect the core value of Web 3.0. Meantime, the advent of blockchain provides an effective underlying data registry infrastructure that enables data to be indexed and retrieved, as well as bolstering the growth and adoption of DID. So Litentry is helping to solve this problem with an identity aggregation protocol that serves for multiple networks. Litentry Network enables DID aggregation, verification, and credit calculation and grading. It mitigates the difficulty of resolving agnostic DID mechanisms by integrating all DID standards into a modularized identity model. These services can be widely implemented in DeFi, on-chain governance, and decentralized KYC, and the process of data aggregation and verification are transparent, secure, and of course, privacy-preserving. So you're beginning to see a theme in terms of some of these projects that we have an eye on. Privacy is increasingly a bigger and bigger deal. There's quite a lot more to this white paper, guys, but at the same time, it's not all that long. Some of the projects, the highlights of the project here, Litentry, are that, of course, it's blockchain powered. That comes as no surprise. It's privacy focused, which, as I just mentioned, is an increasingly important theme. Decentralized, again, that goes without saying, but democracy is also something that is emphasized as a priority. You can check out the rest of the light paper here, including a guide to the tokenomics. It's an interesting one and worth your time at only 14 pages. We'll discuss it more in the future. We'll also link to this in the description below. We have a couple of new spotlight interviews here on our website, altcoinbuzz.io. The first of which here is Adventure Token, TWA, which is becoming scarcer with every transaction, of course, via its algorithm and its tokenomics. This article by Deepika. So with every trade, the overall supply of Adventure Token is reducing, and that, of course, is by design. And this is very much in response to some of the macro problems that we're seeing in the world right now at the level of inflation. So as Deepika writes, that phenomenon has become a global economic challenge. Interestingly, Bitcoin halving has proved time and time again that as the inflation lowers, the intrinsic value of Bitcoin increases. With this aspect in mind, give Adventure Tokens some thought. Again, ticker is TWA. Adventure Token is a deflationary community token that comes with no ability to mint new tokens and follows a token burn model. That's part of the reason, very likely, that we saw such an increase in the price of BNB, Binance coin, because of that major burn that they had recently. The more scarce something is, it's very simple supply and demand economics. The more scarce something is, the more demand there's going to be for it, and as a result, the price, of course, rises. So here's how it works. Every time an Adventure Token transaction occurs, 1% of the total transaction value burns automatically. What this means is with every buy, sell, or transfer, TWA will reduce, the supply will reduce, and TWA will become scarcer. Moreover, holding TWA opens more rewards earning opportunities. So this becomes, by design, by mathematical engineering, in a sense, the ultimate store of value in a lot of ways. Very, very interesting interview here between Deepika and the team. You can read more about it. Again, we spoke with the founder of Adventure Token, Adrian Woodward. So for the exchange, for the back and forth, check out the rest of this article. We'll link to it in the description below. We have a second spotlight interview here on the website, altcoinbuzz.io, for eMoney. Ticker is NGM. And they're looking to build the next generation of stable coins. This article also by Deepika, who's on a roll. This project, eMoney, is remodeling stable coins to make them suitable for greater adoption, as these can shift in value during times, as we all know, of economic pressure. So stability of stable coins and making them mainstream in terms of currency is the goal of eMoney. Again, ticker NGM. In fact, eMoney is building a whole new model of stable coins. These are designed to overcome some major drawbacks of existing stable coins. Some of the interesting features of eMoney stablecoins are they're interest-bearing, they support multiple currencies, actual bank deposits and government bonds backing, and settlement times are shorter and transaction charges are lower. So Deepika here had an exchange with Martin Dyring Anderson, the founder of eMoney, for a deeper set of insights, really multiple insights into the project, their philosophy, and what they're all about, as well as their tokenomics. Check out the rest of this write-up. We'll link to it as well in the description below. Our friends over at StormX, that's STMX, they have this announcement actually from a couple of days ago, but very important. As promised, we're releasing part 1 of our 2021 roadmap. It's going to be a busy year ahead for all of us at StormX. Let us know what you're most excited to see. Again, StormX is one of our favorite projects really because it probably encapsulates the best in terms of incentives, in terms of philosophy, in terms of a pragmatic approach towards mass adoption. So kind of a rewards program, customer loyalty, a lot of collaborations and partnerships and associations with mega retailers, mega brands, all of that kind of overlapping and meeting the world of cryptocurrency, which is awesome to see. That's the way toward mass adoption, is making it easy, making it appealing, creating incentives for people to use your platform and your system. You guys can check out that roadmap here, which is likely to be updated again soon, just because these guys are on a roll. They have a lot to do. Q1 has some interesting updates, no doubt about it, but Q2, I wanted to divert your attention toward Q2 because there's a lot of important stuff that's happening, including the following. You can shop from your desktop. They already have a Chrome button, but now we're going to be adding support for shopping from any desktop browser. That is significant. A StormX debit card is coming in Q2, as is on-chain community voting for adding reward currencies to StormX. You can also expect VIP customer care for rewards member, as well as tokenized Discord for rewards members. This is a community that's growing every day. The price is reflecting that, up nearly 5% in a down market. StormX really had a massive surge about a few days ago now, not quite a week ago. But StormX really has some strong performance here, coming back down off of that local euphoria, but finding a new home just below $1. And I think STMX's best days are ahead. This is not a giant project by any means yet. Market cap, as you can see, of about $77 million or so dollars. So there's a lot of room to grow, especially as adoption of StormX, of the platform, increases, which is why we're so excited. Okay, still a lot to get to, so we're going to speed it up just a little bit here. API 3, announcing our partnership and native integration with TomoChain. And this is a great one to see for both of these parties with which we're both affiliated, with which we're both friends. So that's great. Read more about that here on medium.com, announcing the API 3 partnership with TomoChain. Awesome. Origin Protocol. Today we've partnered with Amazon to bring a quick and easy way to instantly deploy Origin #DShop to AWS, Amazon Web Services. Launch your own decentralized store on AWS with just a few clicks. You will be able to accept ETH, OUSD, OGN, credit cards, and PayPal. It's an awesome announcement, which you can read more about here on medium.com/Origin Protocol. Origin partners with Amazon to bring DShop to AWS. Is it a first move for Amazon, as far as dipping their toes into cryptocurrency and accepting cryptocurrency? Any partnership with Amazon, with AWS, is a positive one. Probably the first of thousands, in my opinion. So kudos to Origin for blazing the trail here. That is significant. Even if you've never heard of Origin, this partnership is something that's going to reverberate. It's going to have major consequences. This is like our foot in the door here, so to speak, because it's nice to have Tesla on board. It's nice to have MicroStrategy on board, of course, and others. The number of companies and affiliates is going to grow, those that embrace cryptocurrency. Amazon is a big one. It would be the biggest one, I think, of all, once you have proper integration and infrastructure set up. So awesome. Copper at Copper HQ here, announcing our integration with Avalanche, AVAX rather. Institutional clients trading AVAX now have access to our secure custody and trading ecosystem. Full details on copper.co. Copper integrates Avalanche to bolster institutional grade storage and trading security for AVAX. Institutional and large traders of AVAX can use Copper's Clearloop with instant, frictionless off-exchange settlement. MATIC Network has been rebranded now as Polygon. So Polygon, previously MATIC Network, even though the handle is still MATIC Network, had this to say yesterday: "Dear MATIC Network supporters and beloved crypto community, today is a big day for our project. We're excited to announce that we are expanding our mission and technology scope and becoming Polygon, Ethereum's Internet of Blockchains." This is a fairly lengthy thread, so I don't see the need to necessarily launch into every post here, but you guys can check it out. You guys can get a sense of the rationale as to why they decided to rebrand and give themselves a makeover. Again, MATIC Network are now henceforth going to be known as Polygon. All right, MATIC Network becomes Polygon. Again, Ethereum's Internet of Blockchains, and they're expanding their mission and technology scope. Best of luck. IDEO Collab Ventures files with the SEC for new $100 million crypto fund. This, like, we're spoiled in this space, but this just seems like kind of another day, another story, another $100 million fund eyeing cryptocurrency. So not that it's bad news, it's good news, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like par for the course, right? Early stage investment fund IDEO Collab Ventures is looking to launch a $100 million crypto investment fund. You guys can read more about that here on sec.report. Form D, IDEO Collab Crypto Fund, LILP, Notice of Exempt Offerings of Securities. We'll link to that in the description below if you're interested. The cryptocurrency market cap recently hit $1.4 trillion. Slightly below that right now at the time of this recording. In fact, let's take a quick look here for an updated figure. All right, we're $11 billion off $1.4 trillion. The point is that we were there. We're going to get back up there in the very near term. $1.4 trillion is an interesting figure because it represents roughly the market cap of Google or Alphabet. So cryptocurrency is now in its totality equivalent to Google's stock, which is awesome. And then eventually we're going to be the size of Amazon. And then eventually we're going to be the size of Saudi Aramco and Microsoft and Apple, currently the biggest company in the world right now at about $2.3 trillion. And then we're going to be the size, of course, of assets, including gold. I'm talking about the totality of the cryptocurrency market, but we have another milestone coming up relatively soon, the fact that Bitcoin itself will be worth $1 trillion. And then that puts it into a very elite group of assets and companies, company equivalents in terms of its size alone. But all of this is coming, guys. All of this is coming, and it's going to actually come, I think, sooner than many would think. We're beginning to see the accelerationism right now. And if Twitter comes out with any kind of official announcement as far as what they kind of hinted at regarding this, it's not that Twitter is the biggest company in the world. It's not that they're particularly exciting or that they're going to kind of be market makers, but it's going to accelerate the snowball effect. So you're going to have MicroStrategy, okay, and then Elon Musk with Tesla validates it. Then Twitter's on board now. I'm hearing reports that Oracle is up next, and that's not something that we chose to report on today because it's a lot of hearsay right now on Twitter. But Oracle is rumored to be the next company that could make a splash and take some of their USD, convert that into Bitcoin on their balance sheets. That's a big deal because Oracle has, by some reports, 35, 40 million, billion, excuse me. The number that I saw specifically was $38 billion in USD reserves. So they have the power to match Elon Musk's investment. They have the power to actually go well beyond that. Can you imagine if Oracle comes out and says, hey, we're going to buy $10 billion worth of Bitcoin? That would really be something. So, again, we're celebrating this 1.4 trillion for the total, crypto market. That's great, but it's still early days. Very, very early days. It's also early days for DeFi because the TVL metric, the total value locked for DeFi markets, is now closing in on $40 billion. Last I checked here, 37.35. Let's update and see where we stand. There you go, $38.13 billion. Look, it's probably going to be $40 billion by tomorrow if we have a green day between, in the next 24 hours in the markets. And then it's going to be 45, then it's going to be 50, then it's going to be 75, then it's going to be 100, then it's going to be 200 billion, 3, 4, 500 billion. This number will get to $1 trillion too eventually because DeFi isn't going anywhere. At least that's how I feel. I also, I guess I'm on the same wavelength here as Raoul Pal, who has this macro observation when it comes to emerging markets. When the EM rocket ship meets the Bitcoin supermassive black hole, the black hole wins. Bitcoin still remains the most powerful macro trend in all markets, hence why all my capital is allocated there currently and for a while yet to come. So positive macro news, positive altcoin news, a lot of positive altcoin news. It's become almost impossible to cover all the significant updates and stories that we have. As I've often said, it's like drinking out of a fire hose or a fire hydrant. It's a tall order. But, your best chance to stay up to date with everything it is that we do cover is to follow us, guys, on all the normal social media channels. Keep also checking back into the website, altcoinbuzz.io, for all the latest. Like, subscribe, share. Hit that bell to receive notifications if you enjoyed the video. Best of luck, of course, if you choose to invest on this hump day. But have a great midweek, everybody. A great Wednesday. Stay safe out there. And as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.